The Logic of It. May 27, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. There is a logic to all of this, and it is what it is. There are many different potential ways to arrive at the desired result. Our paperwork is just a well-tested and simple way of regaining claim to your birthright political status and control of the various entities that have been created in your name. Our process is rather limited in that it doesn't serve commercial notice of your ownership interest (UCC) process, which you may additionally wish to do, though strictly speaking you aren't obligated to do in order to exercise your exemption from commercial law or to assert your ownership of your identity in all its forms. Tim Turner developed a comprehensive UCC process that is still rock solid and widely available. Our process is also rather limited in that it doesn't address the Paramount Claim, which in my opinion is the most important, as it claims your DNA and uniqueness of being back to the moment of conception. We make a basic Paramount Claim available and recommend it highly, but the real expert is Kurt Kallenbach, so if you want to have things nailed down to a gnat's eyelash, do his Paramount Claim as well. What we address with our simplified stripped-down version is getting back to your birthright status as an American and getting control of your identity and property assets so that these foreign commercial corporations operating the two remaining branches of the federal government are discouraged from mistaking you as one of their employees or dependents and railroading you under false legal presumptions. The logic of it is that you have been misidentified almost since birth as a United States citizen. That fundamental impersonation has then led to your name also being interpreted as that of a municipal person, or to be more exact, persons, all of which are citizens of the United States. Your actual birthright political standing has not been brought forward on the public record at all, so you cannot be recognized as one of the people of your state and your country as a whole. So this circumstance has to be corrected. How you correct it and what correction is possible for you at this time is highly dependent on your own situation. Federal civil service employees, for example, are required by their jobs to maintain an identity as a citizen of the United States, but are not obligated to function as United States citizens. They may wish to expatriate from any presumption of United States citizenship and adopt their birthright state citizenship or state national status instead. Because federal workers are allowed to have dual citizenship, they may choose which citizenships they want to have. The same basic situation applies to territorial, military, employees and dependents. They are required by their job to maintain their United States citizenship status, but may choose to expatriate from any presumption of municipal United States citizenship, that is, cease acting as citizens of the United States and opt for their birthright political status as Minnesotans or Californians, for example. Again, as federal workers, they can have dual citizenship and choose which citizenships they honor. For the rest of us, we can avoid the whole issue of any federal citizenship obligations whatsoever, and choose the singular status of our birthright as Texans, New Yorkers, Californians, etc. That is our actual nationality, and we can function as state nationals and never accept any citizenship obligations to serve any government at all. Or, after the age of 21, we can accept the responsibilities of state citizenship, and become state citizens of Texas, New York, etc. We do not have a dual citizenship option because our states of the Union don't provide that or recognize dual citizenship. Thus we remain foreign to both the federal territorial and federal municipal government corporations, though from their standpoint, Americans working for them can retain their American state national or state citizenship in tandem with whichever other citizenship applies, either territorial United States citizenship or municipal citizenship of the United States. As you can see, for Joe Average American, things are simple. You either live as a state national or as a state citizen. It's only when issues of federal citizenship arise that things get more confusing and complex. For most of us, we don't naturally have or desire or receive any benefit from federal citizenship of either kind, and we are best served by correcting our political status and expatriating our names from any presumption of territorial or municipal citizenship conferred on us without our knowledge or consent as babies in our cradles. For territorial workers and dependents, they are better off not being additionally burdened by municipal citizenship, and are better served by claiming their natural American state political status as their second citizenship. For municipal workers and dependents, they are better off not being additionally burdened by territorial citizenship, and are better off claiming their natural American state political status, too. In both these cases, consciously expatriating from one or more foreign political statuses that have merely been conferred upon us without our knowledge or consent protects federal workers by bringing them back under the guarantees of our constitutions, just as expatriating from both presumptions of territorial and municipal citizenship obligations protects average Americans. So, everyone concerned who has been born on the land and soil of one of the states has good reasons to expatriate from one or more federal citizenship obligations and has reason to declare and adopt their birthright political status as American state nationals. Our paperwork is probably the simplest and cheapest way to do this and to put you back in control of your life, but not the only way possible. If in doubt, why not do our paperwork and be sure that the bases are covered? If you have done someone else's paperwork, we have no way of saying if it is correct or sufficient or not, because it is not something we tested, but if you see that it does these things: 1. Claims and conveys your trade name, given name, proper name, to the land and soil of your birth state and makes that your permanent home and domicile. 2. Cancels our prior powers of attorney so that you are in control. 3. Claims and issues certificate of ownership of all your assumed names and all permutations, orderings, styles, and punctuations of your assumed names and names. 4. Expatriates all these assumed names and all permutations, orderings, styles, and punctuations from any obligation of territorial and municipal citizenship or citizenship, our case as average Americans, or expatriation from one or the other form of federal citizenship for federal workers. Then you have the basics in place as soon as you record these 4 basic forms with a land recording office. You have to establish your true home and permanent domicile, you have to take back your own singular power of attorney, you have to claim ownership and control of all the derivative names you have been gifted with, you have to expatriate these names, as appropriate, from any presumption of territorial and/or municipal citizenship, depending on your own situation, whether you are Joe Average and not actually employed by or dependent upon the federal government, or, if you are employed by either the territorial or municipal branches of the federal government. And you have to record these actions with a land recording office, so that they exist in the proper jurisdiction and have to be recognized by all international courts. I hope this better explains what our basic process does. It's meant to provide large numbers of people a relatively easy means of reasserting their actual political status as Americans and to regain control of their identities and assets. Our process creates evidence that is admissible in any territorial court, and since we are naturally exempt from municipal presumptions when we take exception to them, Title 50, Section 7, C, and E, it serves the purpose of returning us to our proper standing. Recorded copies of our paperwork in tandem with a certified copy of our birth certificate and 2 witness testimonies confirming that we are the man or woman whose physical birth event is reflected by the birth certificate, establishes our ownership interest and is sufficient to rebut any and all false legal presumptions being held against us or any derivative name. You can do more to paper up Tim Turner's UCC process, Kurt Kallenbach's Paramount Claim process, both excellent.